Well, you know, you can't say that we don't take you places at WiT, right? From cruise to Mars. That opening video was actually put together by Dr. Angelica Angles, who's going to join us soon, to a piano tune, which she actually arranged and played. She's a classically trained pianist, but she's also a rocket scientist. We're so pleased to have her with us today to talk about her work, about life on Mars. Please welcome Angelica, Dr. Angelica. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you know, I think you were kind of wondering what are you doing speaking at a travel conference, but hey, travel to Mars. It's about
Why
travel,
not?
but
It's about traveling. Yes.
yeah, but so
Yes.
you know, let's go backwards before we go forwards, and let's talk about your childhood in Valencia, right? That's where you grew up, and you were looking at the stars with your grandfather. How did that experience shape you into who you are today?
Yeah. So I was very young. I was 5 years old, and my grandfather was always telling me about the stars and that maybe there was life on Mars. And I think since then I wanted to know, even though my grandfather died a few years after that. But I always wanted to know what was there life on Mars or not. And I have dedicated my life to discover or to be involved in the discovery of life on Mars. We haven't found it yet, but
You're still
hopefully
working
we're,
on it.
yes.
But you know what I find interesting is like other girls look at stars and then we only maybe sing to them, right? You know, but you decided to become a rocket scientist, and you told me that you really only learned to speak English fluently in Sweden when you went to university there, and then you were often stared at in class because women were the minority in the classes you took. How did you handle that?
Well, the learning of English was not that easy because, I'm from Spain. In Spain, we don't speak English. We're not exposed to English at all. So I had to learn as an adult. And, I went to study to Sweden and I didn't understand Swedish or English. So it was interesting. But yeah, after a few months, because I had such a strong desire to do this that of course, I ended up learning, and I was in an environment where I could not speak any other language. And yeah, even today it happens to me that people don't believe that I do this. There is a stereotype that they believe if you are a rocket scientist or an astrophysicist, you have to be that type. And but I like that. I like changing that and encouraging women and girls at schools that doesn't have to be like that. They can do it if they want.
Right. So you have 3 master degrees and a PhD in astrobiology, astrophysics, and planetary exploration, and you're working in research projects at the University of Hong Kong right now, studying
Yeah.
life on Mars, right? Okay, so you were on the site selection team for NASA's Mars exploration program, right, which actually was launched on July 30th. And you were on the site selection team, and you were supposed to be there at that launch, but COVID-19 crashed that dream. So
I
you
was
couldn't make it to.
it was horrible. We were working on the landing site for a few years, and this was also part of my PhD. And so I was waiting for years. I was invited to the landing site, not to the landing site, to the launch of the Mars 2020 mission. And then, yeah, because of the virus, only a few people were there, just the necessary people to just press the button for the rocket to launch.
So,
Yeah.
so disappointing for you when you work so hard for it, you know. But why do you think this mission is so important to mankind?
Oh, there are so many things. Well, the first reason is because it's probably going to bring samples back. So that's going to be huge because the rovers are very good, very capable, and they have internal laboratories that analyze the samples. But it's not the same if we could have the samples with us. And one of other reason is that we can learn a lot from what happened on Earth and what is going to happen to Earth. Because Mars was a very similar place to what is Earth today. It had an atmosphere, it had rivers, even an ocean, it had a nice temperature, and now it's a dead planet. So by studying that, we can know, well, maybe if we don't want to end up like Mars, we should do something different. So it's not just about the origin of life and how did everything start, but about the future.
Right. So it's basically understanding the past and what happened to Mars or Venus so that, you know, Earth doesn't end up there in some million years from now or a few hundred years from now. Okay. So
Yeah.
so for now though, because you can't go to Mars to actually study it, so your work is really now basically studying places on Earth that are similar to Mars, right? So places in Tibet, Chile, Australia, and Spain. And we have some pictures of you, you know, collecting samples. And I've
Oh,
never seen anybody so happy collecting soil, you know, and digging. It's like
collecting
you're so
mud.
you. So what are you looking for, and what lessons can they offer us? This kind of landscapes.
Well, they are called extreme environments or Mars analogues environments. They are extreme in any sense in the geological formation or the geological history or the temperature. There is all these places are really extreme. The one I've been studying the most is Tibet, the high mountains in Tibet, and it's not easy. I may be smiling in the pictures, but the altitude sickness and the huge changes of temperature between day and night it was not easy for me. And then we have to sleep in tents. There is absolutely nothing there, but we can learn a lot because these places are the most similar thing we have of Mars from Mars. So we go there, we take samples, we analyze whether there is any microbial organisms there, and then we study the survival strategies of these organisms and compare this to Mars. So we say, like, if the conditions are almost the same that on Mars and these organisms are surviving there, why not on Mars? Why not in a very similar environment on Mars? So that's what we do. And these trips are very nice. It's a
It
nice
sounds
part
like the
of
kind
my
of
job.
places that I would love to go to. Wouldn't you like to go to? You know, the mountains in Tibet that you go to are about four to 5,000 meters high. So what is it like to be a traveler? So take off your rocket scientist hat, just a traveler. What is it like to be a traveler in these remote areas?
I think the most shocking thing, especially in Tibet, for me, was how people live there and they are actually happy. They live in the mountains in some sort of tents, and they have a very very simple life. They have animals, and but they are very happy. They go to the temple every day, and they were fascinated with me. I think they've never seen a white person before or blonde hair, so they were touching my hair. They were offering me food. uh, I think I think it's I think the most important thing was how with so little they were so happy.
We
Yeah.
have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn from them. How did you
Yes.
like the yak? How did you like? How many of you have been to Tibet? Okay, there you go. I've been. How did you like the yak tea? You know, which they offer you at every house you visit in Tibet. Because the trick for me was they offered it to as a. I had to think of it as soup, and then after that it was palatable, right? What did you think of the yak tea?
Well, I thought it was absolutely horrible because it's a salty tea, and then they put yak butter inside, so it's thick and salty, and I was like, what is but there's no option, right? They drink it everywhere you go. So the
Yeah.
trick for me, and I read this in a book, was to act as if I was drinking. but not drinking. Because if you drink a little bit, they pour more until it's full again. So there's never going to be a way in which you're going to finish it. So they were really confused because I was acting as if I was drinking, but I was not. I didn't like it.
Does anybody have any questions? Please send in. Let me also check my app. Okay, so clearly you believe that there is life out there. Do any of you believe that there is life out there? Hands up. Okay, we have a few believers in the audience, Angelica.
I can see.
You believe there is life? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make any sense that there is not life. Another thing is whether it's intelligence life or whether it's microbial life. But think about it. In here on Earth, wherever you go, to the most extreme environment, to the desert, to Antarctica, there is life everywhere. Life that is adapted to those conditions, right? Why not? I mean, the conditions might be a little bit different, but we know that microorganisms adapt really easily to the conditions where they are. So I believe microbial life was definitely possible on Mars a few billion years ago. The key now is to find it.
So the previous panel, we spoke about a science fiction movie, about Tom Cruise. What was that movie? Minority Report. Do you feel that what we're living through now in times of COVID is a bit science fiction? Like all the dystopian novels and movies have come to life?
You see, like when I talk about science fiction, I think science fiction is becoming more reality, right? Like what was science fiction decades ago now is our reality. Like, so I don't think so. I think in space exploration, we're advancing really, really fast. And I think all these dreams about going to Mars and going to, or finding life, what happened on maybe life on Venus, is becoming a reality. So I don't think we're living a science fiction is moving really fast.
Okay. So who are your role models? As you want to be a role model to young girls, right, to study rocket scientists, who are your role models?
Well, the first one was my grandfather. Of course, he was the one who introduced me to all of this. And then I do have a few friends that have very high roles in NASA, and they have families and they have kids, and still they are in the highest sections of astrobiology at NASA. And I hope I can do that one day as well. Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna say one word, and then you have a one word for me. Okay, Moon.
Grandfather.
Elon Musk.
Brave.
Star Wars or Blade Runner?
Dream.
Alien or Contact?
I could say so many here. Communication, happiness.
Okay, and the first place that you want to travel to when you can, not to Mars, but on Earth, when you can.
Oh, when I can, I would love to go home to Spain. I haven't been there in a year now, so yeah.
Okay, please join me in thanking Angelica. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with your exploration, and may you share lessons. Thank you very much.